story time about the worst date that I've ever been on my entire life. In his car, he's not talking. He's literally not talking. I'm trying to make small talk. He's freaking weird. I'll say something. He'll say something weird in response. I can't even bring myself to fake laugh. Like, why'd you say that? Please take it back. So it's just really weird. And I asked him, I was like, can I see your phone so I can play some music? And he was like, yeah, here you go. He hands it to me. I get on his Apple Music. Every single playlist is named after me and has my picture as the cover picture. All of them. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna get home today? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. So I act like I don't see it. And then he's like, did you see? Did you see my playlist? I was like, I saw. Then he takes me go-kart racing. He wouldn't tell me where he was taking me. So I was like, he's gonna take me to the woods and kill me. Like, he's my stalker. Nah, he takes me go-karting, which is just a thing in itself. We get there, they're closed. So we sit in his car for 30 minutes till they open, which he's not talking until I get on my phone, right? Wrong. He starts looking over at my phone. He's like, who are you texting? Who are you talking to? Now, you don't know me. You don't know. I don't have to tell you who I'm talking to. And if I did tell him who I was talking to, he'd get all butthurt. What do you want me to say? I'm texting other boys. I'm texting my hoes right now. But if I said that, you get all butthurt. So maybe mind your own, huh? Then he takes me to Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. But also first date, really? Anyhow, we get there. He spills mild sauce all down his white hoodie. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I'll get napkins. And he was like, no. He gets out of the car, slams the door, leaves me in there to eat my Taco Bell. So I'm just eating my Taco Bell while he's in the bathroom for like 15 minutes, cleaning himself up. Comes back out with a smudged round stain. He was like, I don't have another hoodie. And I was like, it's okay. Like, he's throwing a fit. And then he was like, wait, I might have a jacket in my backseat. So then he goes back, his trunk. He goes to his trunk, gets this winter coat, puts it on, gets back in the car. I was like, okay, great. And he puts his elbow in my nacho cheese sauce. And I was like, hey, you just put your elbow in my nacho cheese sauce. He was like, are you kidding me? Which I was just like, whoa. So then he goes inside, leaves me in his car to eat my Taco Bell again. I'm already done. By the time he comes back out and starts eating his food, I'm done. So he's just sitting there eating for 30 minutes. We're not talking. We're not. Can't be on my phone because he's a nosy little hoe bag. So then he's like, now I'm going to take you to Six Flags. What? We just went go-kart racing and then Taco Bell. Now Six Flags? Okay. So then we go to Six Flags and he pays to park. He pays $30. He's like, I can't believe I just paid $30 to park at Six Flags. You planned the date. Why are you yelling at me? So then we go into Six Flags. I don't want to be there. I'm trying to hint, like, I'm so tired. Like, I really just need a nap. Like, you picked me up so early this morning. I haven't been getting up till noon every day. He's not taking the hint. He's like, what if you just took a nap in this line and then by the time you woke up, we could go on the ride? He was so weird. And ugly. I'm sorry. That's not nice. It's real. I'm not being a mean girl. I mean a real girl here. So then we get in line for another ride. And who's behind me? Directly behind me, but 3 people from my school. 3. And so I tell him, I was like, hey, don't turn around. There's people from my school behind us, and I'm not really friends with them. And he was like, I'm going to stare at them. And I was like, no, you're not. Don't be a freak. And then he was like, I'm just going to stare at them until they get uncomfortable and look away. Which I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. What if I just shoot myself right now? I don't want to be seen with him. I don't need them thinking that we're together. Like, at most, they can think we're cousins. I'm trying to distance myself away from him. He's buddy right up next to me no matter how far I scoot away. I'm up against the rail and he's up on me. And I'm scared for my life. Then we finally get on the ride. Who are we sitting next to? But of course, those 3 people. There's no way they didn't see me with him. There's no way they didn't know we were on a date because he was so freaking touchy-feely with me. So then we go on another ride. He puts his hand out for me to hold. And I was like, I shove it in my pocket as fast as I can. And I was like, sorry, my hands are really cold. And then he was like, you don't have to make excuses. Obviously, I do. Obviously, you're making me make excuses, putting your hand out like I want to hold it or something. Then we go on this last ride. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do more than this. So we get on a ride. I have my back pushed against the wall so he can't put his arm around me because he's so close to me I can smell him, and it is not a good smell. So I was just like, he can't put his arm around me if he can't get his hand behind me. He tries his best. He starts going, ooh, he makes a breakthrough behind my back, has his arm around me. And I guess he could see by the look on my face, which I was just like, he was like, wait, is it okay if I put my arm around you? And I was like, well, it's already there. It's already there. You already did. What's the point asking now? So then finally I was just like, we get off this ride. I was like, I'm ready to go home. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Sorry. And he was like, well, I had a really nice dinner planned for us after this with your favorite food, chicken Alfredo. And I was like, it's not my favorite food. And he was like, your sister lied to me. She told me chicken Alfredo was your favorite food. He pulls out the messages. She was like, I don't know. She likes chicken Alfredo, kind of. He's arguing with me about how this is my favorite food. My sister didn't even say that was my favorite food. She said I liked it. And I was like, sorry, like, I just feel kind of sick and tired. Like, could you just take me home? He was like, well, my buddy isn't going to be home until 9 o'clock tonight. So I would just be alone at his house if you don't hang out with me longer. And I was like, not my monkeys, not my circus. Get in the car, and then he makes me get out of the car to take a picture with him. He parked all the way out in BFE. It's the longest walk. We're walking, we're not talking. We're not. So we get to his car, and he's like, can you get out and take a picture with me really fast? Which I'm like, why couldn't we take a picture in the car? But whatever. Take a picture. I'm literally like, because I cannot pretend to be happy when I'm not. I just can't. I can't. So we get back in the car, and he's like just staring at me, and I'm like trying to not look at him because I'm not trying to get kissed. And so I was like, I'll put my address in your phone right now. And so I do. And then he's just sitting there like, and I was like, drive. Take me home. Let's go. We get back up to my house and we get to my gate. And I get out, I hop out the car to get the gate. And I was like, you just leave me here. I'll walk back. Which I have a crazy long driveway. So like, you know I want it out of there. And he was like, no, that's so rude. I have to walk you up to your front door and meet your parents. I was like, my parents are home. They're not home. You can't meet them, sorry. And I didn't want him walking all the way up to my front door because, like, my bedroom door kind of is just, like, on the side of that house. And I was like, you can just park up next to my bedroom door so you don't have to walk. So he pulls up to my bedroom door, still gets outside of the car to walk me out, and gives me the world's longest hug, which is a stinky boy. He was a stinky boy. And then I pull away, and I was like, okay, bye. And he was like, wait. Like, and gives me the, and I was like, drive safe. And I run inside to my bedroom. I'm like, great, I escaped. Wrong. He starts yelling my name from my bedroom. Jade! 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 Come back! And I was like, this isn't real. This isn't real. So I run into my mom's bedroom because she actually is home. And I was telling her, he's calling me nonstop, text me like, Jade, come back, come back. And she was like, you probably left something in his car. I was like, I did not leave anything in that man's car. And I was like, he wants me to kiss him. Then he texts me, can I kiss you before I leave? I was like, I don't kiss on the first date. He was like, sorry for even asking. I'm sorry too. So I think he's gone. He goes up to my gate and acts like he can't open it. It's literally just a latch and you just push it open. And he was like, it's fine. I'll just wait here till your mama gets home and she can save me. I was like, no, sir, she won't. She won't save you. Please leave. And he was like, oh, I figured it out. Bye. So then I'm like, okay, great, I can ghost him. He's texting me paragraphs every day, being like, please don't ghost me, please don't ghost me. He's getting ghosted. I'm sorry.
So a few weeks ago, I had to end things with somebody that I was dating because he spent the night one night and then the next morning he used my bathroom, didn't flush the toilet, and left pee all over the seat, and then proceeded to lay in my bed and chill on his phone while I was in the kitchen cooking him breakfast. And then after he ate breakfast, he didn't even offer to help clean up and just left everything out on the counter. And until this happened, there really weren't any major red flags that I had noticed until I started reflecting on little things that were bothering me here and there of things that he was doing on our other dates. Because these weren't like outwardly huge red flags to the point where I was just going to stop talking to him. But now that I have all of this information and I'm putting all the pieces together, I'm like, okay, that's why all of these things were bothering me. So on our fourth date, we went bowling and we had to wait for our lane to be ready, and there was a bar in that same place, so we just decided to go sit at the bar. And he was like, are you gonna drink tonight? And anyone that knows me knows that I don't drink, but every once in a while I'll have something. So I was just like, you know what, sure, tonight I'll have a drink. He then tells me that he forgot his wallet at home that has his license in it, and he's gonna show his license on his phone to the bartender if like she tries to card us. And I looked at him and I was like, that's not going to work. They're going to require a physical copy of your license for this to work. So of course the lady cards us. He tries showing his ID on his phone and she's like, yeah, that's not going to work. We're going to need your actual license. And he didn't outwardly say anything, but I could tell that he was like fuming on the inside, which again, I feel like anyone knows in 2025 that typically you can't get away with showing your ID on your phone. So neither of us get a drink, and we go over because there's a pool section right there, and we start playing pool. A few minutes into playing, he is like, hey, I have an idea. What if you go to the bar and you order your drink, wait a few minutes, and then go up and order my drink? And I was like, that's not going to work because they're totally going to catch on to the fact that I'm ordering a drink for both you and me. But I agreed to it anyway because I was like, whatever. He made a comment about how he typically would never make me pay for my own drink, but because he left his wallet at home, that's unfortunately what had to be done. Mind you, this man has Apple Pay, and I'm guessing he probably had Venmo too. This kind of rubbed me the wrong way though, because I feel like because he made that comment about never making me pay for my own drink, he should have taken out his phone then and there and been like, hey, what's your Venmo? I'll pay you for the drink right now. But he didn't do that. So whatever, I go and get my drink. It was only $11. And while I'm getting my drink, our lane is ready. So he leaves to go get that set up. When we get to the lane, he puts in the wrong name for me in our game. Instead of Alexa, he wrote Alexis. Mind you, he had never called me Alexis once up until that point. And I called him out and I was like, you know, that's not my name, right? And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Like, he was acting so like embarrassed. But I was like, this is weird because you've never once called me the wrong name. Then we start playing, and as we're playing, servers will come up to us and ask us like, hey, do you guys want anything to eat or drink? So naturally, he finally gets to order his drink and they don't card him. And this made me furious because I was like, first of all, why were you not able to wait like 15 or 20 minutes while we were waiting for our lane to be ready to get your precious alcohol? But instead you had to create this elaborate plan for me to go up there and buy my own drink and then go up and buy yours too, when in the end they were just going to be serving us alcohol anyway and not even be carding us for it. Also, we're bowling. Why do you need to drink alcohol? Like, why is that so important to you on a bowling date? So I was just super frustrated at that point. And typically this is not something I would bring up, but because the situation is over and I'm just so disgusted by this man, the final thing that made my ick go over the edge was how bad this man was at bowling. I'm not good at bowling. Like, I'm lucky sometimes if I can even break 100. This man was getting gutter balls like every single shot. In fact, I have never seen such horrific bowling form in my life. He like took the ball and had his arm bent and he was throwing the ball with the same leg. And here I was afraid that I was going to give him the ick playing bowling. Again, I'm not here to shame anyone's lack of athletic abilities because like I'm not super athletic and I'm typically not the best at these sorts of things. But if you're so bad to the point where I'm like breaking 100 and you maybe have 50 points, if that, like, oh my God. And again, like I said, typically this isn't something that would be considered like a huge ick for me, but because he did so many other things up to that point that had already made me so annoyed and given me the ick, it was just like the final straw. But yeah, I still have more things that this man did that were very subtle over the dates that we went on, but now that I pieced it all together, it all makes sense.
It's been officially 1 year since I got the clap, so here's a story time of how I got the clap. And just so that we're on the same page, the clap is chlamydia in this story, not gonorrhea. So if you think the clap is gonorrhea, you're wrong. Anywho, okay. So it was exactly a year ago. I love Snapchat memories for this reason. So my roommate set me up with this guy who was 6'5" named Mike. I was like, oh my God, 6'5", 35. He's a grown man. Love it. It started off on a good page. She was like, Kate, I have this guy. He's exactly your type. He's tall. He's funny. He's nice. Like, let's go for this. I said, okay. I just got over dating a gay boy. That was a bad run. Like, let's try again. Take 2. So she sets me up with this guy. He DMs me a very nice thing. He's like, my name's Mike. Like, I think you're beautiful. I'd love to take you out and get to know you. I'm like, okay, great. Awesome. Let's go meet up for drinks. But I have a friend in town, so, like, we need to wait a week. And he's like, okay, no worries. Like, does your friend want to come? And I'm like, no, my friend does not want to come, but thanks for the invite. He keeps trying to hang out with me a little bit pushy. I'm not thinking anything of it. Now do I know that once they start to push your boundaries because you say you're busy, they're not listening to you. They're never going to listen to you. Cut them loose, okay? But I was giving this man the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, he's nice, he's cute. Let's try it. It's been a dry spell. So my friend ended up going home. Him and I, like, arrange a date. We schedule it. He gets so drunk that he ghosts me. I message this man at, like, 3. I'm like, are we still good for today? Nothing. Don't hear from him until, like, 6 o'clock when we're supposed to be at this date. I did not get ready for this date. I made other plans. Because by 3 o'clock, if I haven't heard from you, I am not waiting any longer. I am not wasting any more of my day. So he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Crazy thing happened. I ran into this guy from high school. We ended up going to the bar. I just like completely lost track of time. I'm like thinking, this is a very valid excuse. Like, of course, like I totally get it. However, like I have made plans, like we can cry again tomorrow. Now at this phase in life, I know that if they bail on you because they accidentally blacked out drunk, that is still a major red flag. Okay. But so I end up going on a date with him the next day. Okay. It's funny. It's fine. I end up picking him up in my car. I'm like, oh, great. He was like, I'm going to Uber there. I'm like, do you want me to just pick you up? He's like, yeah, you can pick me up. He had a car. He just thought he was going to get so drunk at the date that he wasn't going to be able to drive home. Also, red flag. I still went along with it. I'm like, tee ha ha, I'm a people pleaser to my core. So I pick him up on this date. We go on the date. He's being really touchy. He's acting like we've known each other forever. I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm going to go along with it. On this date, he's telling me about how he loves ketamine and he does it casually when he watches TV and he puts himself in a K-hole. I love my psychedelics. Like, I want to go into psychedelic therapy. That did not deter me. I was like, fun. No. And he's telling me about how his parents do a bunch of drugs and it's like fun and they're a party family and he's telling me all these frat stories and I'm like, oh, this feels like I'm at home. This feels like I'm in school again. Like, I have a drug addict daddy and I was in a sorority. I was a sorority girl. Like, this is like so comforting for me, obviously. So I'm thinking the date is fine. I'm like, tee ha ha. I think everything's funny. Everything's good. I drive him home like the chivalrous man I am. And we start making out in the car. He's trying to get a little bit farther. I'm like, I am a good girl. I do not sleep with a man on the first date. So he basically like makes me fucking give him a handy. I'm like, no. But I, again, people pleaser. Finally, get out of there by the fucking skin of my fucking teeth. Next day, we're texting. I'm like, do you know how to open up a coconut? I lived in Hawaii at this time. Some random man had given me a coconut. And I was like, how do I get this thing open? He was like, I don't know, because he's a white Halle boy. He's like, I don't know, but I'll do some Googling and I'll figure it out. I'll be over at your house later. I said, what? I didn't invite you over to my house, but okay, like I want to get this coconut open. I can get laid, all the things. Nuts all day, baby. And so he comes over to help me get open this coconut, and then we start making out, and then he's like, you're a really good kisser. Meanwhile, my whole face feels like it's just been eaten off. It's soaked because he just made out with my entire chin. But I end up having sex with him. It's fine. We go to the pool. I have the most gnarly discharge of my goddamn life. Turns out that's the chlamydia. But I'm thinking the pool just messed up my pH. It's fine. Whatever. But then he literally tries to finish inside me without asking, so I'm a little freaked out at that point. At that point, I'm like, okay, things are violated. I don't want anything to do with you. So I ended after a few days because I had to riddle through my whole body and figure out, oh, I actually don't like this man. Gotta cut it loose. Don't want anything to do with you. Don't ever actually want to see you ever again because you're freaking weird. So I ended with him and he's like, not gonna lie, this kind of caught me out of left field. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it did. Here's all the things that you did as to why I never want to see you again. You literally the next morning after I hooked up with him, he was like, where's Cupid? Let's thank Cupid. Cupid was my roommate. Cupid is my roommate. I'm like, dude, it's 7:30 in the morning. Shut the fuck up. He put my vibrator on his ball sack when we weren't even having sex. And then he wanted to meet my mom because she was coming into town. And then was just like all around. Oh, he was saying things like, you're mine. I'm going to make you fall in love with me. And I'm like, dude, get the fuck away from me. You're scaring me now. Now, like, my threshold is tapped, burned through. We're done. So I ended it with him. And then I found out I had chlamydia 6 months later when I was dating the hottest man I'd ever seen in my entire life. And everybody was like, you should get tested because he sleeps around. I get tested. I embarrass the fuck out of myself because he's like, I'm not sleeping with anybody else. And I'm like, oh, great. Then I know exactly who it is because this is the guy who I was like, if anybody was to give me an STD, it would have been him. Anyway, peace and love. That's my only STD to this date. But anyway, if they're a fucking loser and they showed that they're a fucking loser, don't give them the benefit of the doubt. I've done it too many times. Okay, bye.
The story about my date from hell and why I had to block this man after 2 hours of knowing him, essentially. He adds me on Instagram and he replies to my story and he says, you're so beautiful. Are you single, by the way? And I was like, yeah, actually I am. And he says, okay, great. I would love to take you out. Can I get your number? And normally I don't give out my number like that because it can be risky, as it was in this case. It was a horrible decision. But like, if we have a good conversation on Instagram and you ask for my number, sure, I'll give it to you. But this early, I'm always kind of like, I'm not sure. But he was hot, unfortunately. So I did give it to him, and I should not have, but I did. Texting for, I don't know, like the next day. We were texting that afternoon. And he hit me with the WYD, which I cannot freaking stand. I don't know when this became a thing and why we decided to be so lazy that we can't type out like, what are you up to or what are you doing? It has to be WYD, but I cannot fucking stand it. I'm already annoyed at this. Mind you, he's 27, so that's just what they be doing, okay? So he WYDs me. I'm like, oh, nothing. I just got home from work. I'm just chilling, cleaning up, this and that. What are you doing? And he says, I really want to see you tonight, not gonna lie. And so normally I don't do a same day date because one, I have better things going on than to hang out with you. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like I feel like being available last minute is not attractive. So normally I don't do that, but I was like, you know what? If I go meet him and I don't like him, I don't have to continue to talk to him because I'm not a big texter, especially if I don't know you. I do not want to sit there and text you all day long. Like that is a chore for me. If I like you, yeah, I will text you all day long. But if we are strangers and we don't know each other, I don't want to sit there and have a text conversation all day long. I really don't. So I'm like, okay, if you plan something, like we can hang out, whatever, da da da. And he's like, okay, meet me here at 8 for ice cream. And I'm like, okay, cool. Ice cream date. It's very low effort, but again, I don't mind on the first date because we don't know if we like each other, and I don't want to sit there for a 2-hour dinner with you if I don't like you. So I'm cool with an ice cream date, okay? I'm good with it. Go to this ice cream place. It's like 15 minutes away from me. And we go in. Oh, and before we went, he texted me and was like, I'm like really excited about meeting you. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Okay, I'm also excited to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So we meet up and immediately he's like very chatty, which is fine, you know, nothing wrong with it. We order our ice cream and we go to pay. Well, he goes to pay. His card declines. Yes, his card declines for $21. And it's very awkward, as you can imagine. He tries it like literally 12 times and it does not go through. And I'm like, hey, it's no problem. I can cover it. You know, it's fine. Obviously that's embarrassing. I don't want to make it worse. So I'm like, I can cover it. He's like, no, let me go get my other card out of my car. And I'm like, okay, your wallet is in your hand, but yeah, go get your other card, sure. So he leaves to go get his other card out of his car. And he's gone for like 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, you're obviously like on the phone with somebody or having someone send you money or whatever. He comes back in, tries another card. It does not go through, of course. So eventually he's like, can you cover it? He doesn't say like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, this is embarrassing. He just says, can you cover it? And I'm like, yeah, yes, of course I will. I was just like, no, we have to leave. Like, yes, I will cover it. Like I said, I would 20 minutes ago. Okay. Like, oh, that's not that big of an issue. The issue was when his card was declining, he was getting mad at these people. He's saying, y'all are trying to scam me. This is a scam. I know I have money on this card. Like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this. Like, berating these people for his card declining. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So yeah, obviously an amazing start to the date. We get our ice cream, we sit down, the ice cream is trash, which is very, very sad to me because I don't eat ice cream like that. So if I am going to, it's got to be worth it, and it was not worth it. So this $21 ice cream that I paid for sucks. We sit down and we're talking and we get on the topic of like past relationships, and he asks me about my past relationships. He's like, you know, what happened with you and your ex? Like, why it didn't work out? Like this and that. And I had mentioned that like that relationship was toxic, and he was like, oh, so was mine. And then he manages to talk about his ex and his toxic relationship for the next hour straight. I'm not even exaggerating. An hour straight, he talks about his ex. This is the most toxic, horrific relationship I have ever heard anyone speak about. And he just continues to go on and on and on and on about it. And he was even like digging, like asking questions about my relationship. And I don't want to talk, like, I'm not a big talk about exes kind of person, especially on a date, especially like when it's with somebody that you're trying to get to know. Like, it's a red flag. This has happened to me twice on 2 different dates where they talked about their ex for an extended period of time. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you that makes you think that that's okay? That I want to hear about that? Because I really don't. And if anything, it's really turning me off. Eventually, I am so tired of hearing him talk about it. Also, when he came there, he smelled like, and he went to the bathroom 3 times, came back smelling more like it, and his eyes were red. So I was just like, oh my God, okay, you are just not it, bro. You're just not it. So eventually I get fed up and I'm like, I don't want to sit here and listen to you talk about your ex. I don't say that, but I'm just like, I gotta go. Like, I have to work tomorrow. It's like 9 o'clock at this point. I'm so done with this date. I want to leave. So I'm like, hey, I think they're closing. They weren't. We should probably head out. So we leave. We're walking outside. I start walking to my car and he's like, oh, where'd you park? I was like, over here. He's like, oh, I'm over there. I'm like, okay. And he's like, do you mind if I come and sit in the car with you for a little bit? I'm just like, yeah, sure, that's fine. We get in the car, he continues to talk about his ex, continues to talk about her, like he didn't skip a beat. He just like immediately starts yapping about her again. And I'm just like, Oh my God. And I was like, so how long ago was this? And he's like, oh, like a year and a half. I'm like, no, it wasn't. The way that you're remembering details about your relationship, it was not a year and a half ago. I can guarantee you that. So eventually I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go, like, where's your car at? I'll drop you off. Like, I gotta head back home or whatever. He's like, okay, it's over here. I drive up to his car. He's like, oh, can you get out so I can give you a hug? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I get out and he's like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. I can't believe you're single. He's like, I really want you to come to my hometown for Christmas because there's like all these lights up and it's so beautiful and you would love it. And like we do all these events with my family and like this and that. And also my friends are going to be in town for this baseball expo next month. And like, I want you to come with me and meet my friends and like all of this shit. And I'm just like, oh my God, how oblivious do you have to be? And then he's like, so when am I going to see you again? I hate when guys ask you this on the date because you're like, I don't know, let me check my calendar. It's you in a really awkward spot. So I was like, I don't know, you know, we can plan something later. We don't have to worry about it right now. Like, no big deal, you know, like we'll figure it out. And he's like, okay, well, it sounds like we can hang out on Saturday. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know. He's like, all right, Saturday sounds good. I'm like, oh my God. So anyways, I get in my car and I'm driving home, 15 minutes home, and I get a text that comes up on my CarPlay and it's him. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Whenever we were sitting in my car, someone had texted me and it came up like on my CarPlay, you know, and it was a guy. And so he had seen that. So I'm on the way home and he texted me and he says, so you're not talking to anybody, are you? Or are you going to continue to talk to people and continue to date after today? I was like, yes, I am. I'm single and I'm dating, and that's what you do when you're single and dating. So yes, I am going to continue to date and see people. His response was, oh, well, that just like really doesn't work for me. I'm more of a one woman type of guy and I'm not really okay with that. To which I respond and I say, hey, it's no big deal. Mind you, I don't want to see this person ever again. I never want to see you again. So I don't care if you care that I'm going to continue to date people or not, because this is not happening. This is so not happening. So honestly, I don't give a fuck. I respond and I say, oh, okay, no worries. Like, I understand, like, you're allowed to have boundaries. Sounds like we're just not aligned on this. No worries, it is what it is. Essentially, I'm like letting you down easy. To which he responds and says, I'm not going anywhere, Nicole. Excuse me? And I responded and I said, oh, so you were the toxic one in your relationship. Because he told me it was his ex that was toxic. This is very toxic behavior, banter, language, and I know all about that, trust me. My nervous system at this point, bells are going off, whistles are being blown. My nervous system is like, get the fuck away from this man. Because listen, I know all too well about men like this. And I am never doing that again. He was like, oh, well, you know, you were just being silly, so I'll see you on Saturday. So I'm just like, I just kind of blow it off and I get in bed and I do my research on him like one does, as one should. I go do some research. Oh my God, the things I find out about this man, I'm not gonna tell you because these are not my experiences with him. These are other people's experiences with him. So I'm not gonna spread it, you know, some of it might not be true. So I'm not gonna tell you what I found out, but let's just say I found out some insane accusations about this man, to which I immediately blocked him. This is horrible. I don't want anything to do with this man ever again. Goodbye, good riddance. Please leave me alone. So I block him, go to bed, don't think anything of it, take him off Instagram. The next morning, I'm getting ready for work. I put my Apple Watch on. Apple, can we please fix this, please? Put my watch on, and I had messages come through from him. He says, damn, you blocked me. That's crazy. Now I see why you're 30 and single. Yeah, that's what he said. So obviously dodged a bullet. Also, I think it's funny when younger men they want to go out with older women and they say they like older women, and then they get butthurt and then they try to use your age against you like it's a bad thing. I'm like, you literally went out with me and then you're trying to call me old. Like, that is so stupid. I forgot to take him off of Snapchat, and he did send me a message on Snapchat, but I blocked him and did not open it because I did not want to give him the satisfaction of reading his message. I imagine it was probably something around the same lines, but I blocked him and did not read it, so I cannot verify. But yeah, obviously dodged a bullet with that one. Just remember, do not let a man pick you up from your house. Do not give him your address. Don't tell him where you live. If you do not know him, do not give him any of this information. I am even upset that this guy had my number because he obviously didn't deserve it. So just be careful. And I told y'all a bad date was coming because I was like, there's no way I don't go on a bad date. And I finally did.
Get ready with me for work while I tell you about my awful date last night. So he picked me up at my place at 7:30 and we had plans to go get drinks. Important part of the story, he offered to pick me up. So I just told him where to pick me up. We go to this cute upscale bar in our town and I order a glass of wine and he asks if he can order a shot, if I'm cool with that. And I was like, yeah, for sure, no worries. So he orders a shot and the same glass of wine I get. And then he goes to the bathroom while our server gets our drinks and I was like, okay, like he was already late to pick me up and I'm like, okay, you couldn't have gone to the bathroom at home, but like whatever, not my business. As I'm filming this man is blowing up my phone. While he's in the bathroom, I see one of my coworkers from one of my jobs. Oh my god, he's texting me again. I see one of my coworkers from my other jobs and he was like, hey, what are you doing here? And I was like, hey, I'm on a first date. And he was like, oh, that's crazy. Should I like heckle him, you know, like give him a hard time? And I was jokingly like, yeah, sure. That never happened, but we were just joking about it. I just realized how much I'm saying like in this video. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try not to do that anymore. But things are going well. We're chatting. We're having a good time. And we both need to go to the bathroom at the same time. So we get up and we're walking towards the bathroom and I say something to him and he grabs the back of my neck because he doesn't hear me and he like pulls me back. Mind you, this man is like a foot taller than me, like easily like a lot stronger than me. So I was like, whatever, he's just getting drunk. Like, it is what it is. We've gotten a second round at this point. He got the same thing, a shot and a glass of wine. I just got another glass of wine. I beat him back to the table and I'm just waiting for him, trying to think of what to do. So I tell him when he gets back, I'm like, you should drink some water. You're definitely drinking far too much to be driving me home later. I don't really feel comfortable. And he assures me, he tells me, you know, if you feel unsafe, I don't want you to feel that way. I'll get you an Uber, blah, blah, blah. So we go back to talking and things are going like decent and we're talking about some deep stuff. And I was like, okay, things are going good. Things are going good again, whatever, nothing too crazy. And then he keeps trying to like call his friends throughout the date. And I was confused. I was just, could not be me on a first date. I would not be like calling my friend. So this man orders a third round and I'm just getting annoyed. Like he ordered it right after I said I was uncomfortable with how drunk he was getting. And that's 6 drinks at this point. I was done after 2. You know, it's fine. It's a first date. We aren't in a relationship where we're comfortable and this is something we discussed beforehand. I would have just driven myself. I would not have let him pick me up if I had known he was going to be drinking this much. And it's like, we're just supposed to be getting to know each other right now and you're getting fucking plastered on this first date. And we're sitting on this couch and he goes, you know, like, I want to be honest with you. My friends have gotten into cocaine. Take it in. My friends have gotten into cocaine. Like, I'm not an addict, but my friends have gotten me into it and I've spent $500 this week on cocaine. At this point, he's trying to reassure me. He's telling me that he's not an addict and just all of his kind of reasonings for doing coke. And mind you, we aren't in like a big city or anything. I'm not oblivious to it. I know people in our town do coke pretty often, but I just was not expecting that. And it just hits me. I'm like, were you going to the bathroom so much to do coke? And he was like, yeah, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that is what I was doing. So not only is this man drinking an exorbitant amount of alcohol after driving me, he is also doing cocaine in the bathroom. At this point, I am thinking, how the fuck do I get myself out of this situation? This is not a situation I want to be in. I feel so disrespected because I can be so understanding. I can be so understanding when it comes to drug use or whatever, but like, I mean, you're saying you're not an addict, you're spending $500 a week on it, and it's to the point where you can't even stop doing blow on your first date with somebody. Like, I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong here, but it's a first date. You can't just, like, take it easy and not bring blow with you? What? At this point, I'm being way too nice to him, and I am hearing him out while also telling him it's disrespectful to do that on a first date. He was saying, I know, I'm really sorry, but I promise you I'm not an addict, all this. And he tries to call a friend again, and he orders a 4th round, and I am just like, done. And he goes to call a friend. I'm not looking at his phone. I'm minding my business. This is a first date. I don't care if you have other girls' numbers in your phone. It's a first date. I'm not expecting commitment after we've been talking about a first date. And his friend doesn't pick up. And he goes, oh, that girl with the heart next to her name, like, that's my ex. I'm just too lazy to change it. Mind you, I didn't ask. I'm not even looking at his phone. I'm not even looking. And he's going on and on about his ex and how he's just, like, not that kind of guy to change somebody's contact name and blah, blah, blah. They broke up 2 months ago, going on. And I'm like, okay, like, I just need to figure out how the fuck to get out of here. I looked at him, I said, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I go to the bathroom, I'm texting coworkers, I'm texting friends, I'm like, 911, I'm using our code word, and I am just begging somebody to pick me up from this bar. I don't want the Uber he's gonna call for me, I just want to go home. Because I don't want him to have control of whether I can leave or not. And I'm texting my friends. He goes to the bathroom after I come back, and I get a text from my friend, and she's a real one. She said, I'm on my way. Thank God. So he's still in the bathroom, and our server walks by, and she stops and she says, hey, I get off work soon. If you need a ride, like, please let me know. I'll hang out until you figure that out. And I was like, thank you so much. This girl, if you're watching this, you're a fucking real one for that. Thank you so much, because I just did not know what the fuck to do. I was super fucking stressed out. And he comes back. I grab his hand and I say, I'm gonna go. I have a friend coming to pick me up. And he's like, no, please, no, I'm so sorry, please stay, like, please tell your friend to turn around, just give me another hour, like, let's figure this out. It's a fucking first date. What is there to figure out? I know everything I need to know about you as of right now. So I need to speed run this because I have 30 seconds left. We start fighting on the couch. Not screaming or anything, nobody could hear us. And then I tell my friends here. And people are looking at us. They know the fucking vibe is off. And we stand up. He's still trying to plead with me to stay. He's still fighting with me. He's like, you don't see me. You don't know who I am, blah, blah, blah. And I give him a hug. I say, thank you so much. I'm gonna go. Part two of my awful date last night. So I was trying to wrap this all up at the end of the first video because I hate a fucking part two. I fucking hate a part two. But what happened was we were fighting on the couch and he was like, I can't believe, like, that just changed everything for you. We were having such a great time. I really saw a future with you. You're such an amazing girl, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first of all, it's a fucking first date. I know what I have going for me. I know that, like, potential suitors can see what I've got going for me. I'm confident. I've got my shit fucking figured out. At least most of it, not all of my shit. But I have 2 jobs. One of them's a really good job. The other one I do for fun, for extra money. And I'm not a stripper. That happened to me once in a Reddit story where people thought I was this stripper. I'm not a stripper. I work at a bar for fun. And so I know what I've got going for me. And he's trying to tell me, you're so amazing. And I really don't want to fuck this up. You're so great. I'm not even trying to gas myself up. This man was just trying to get me to stay on this date. And he's going on and on and on. And he was like, I can't believe that you would just leave this date because of one thing. I don't even talk to my ex. Like, we're not sleeping together. We're not this and that. And I was like, honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I didn't even point it out. It's everything that happened tonight. I just feel disrespected. And every time I'm saying something to him, he's like scoffing and looking away. And that reminded me so much of my ex. I was like, I don't want any part of this. In fact, I'm trying to avoid dating someone like my ex. So that was a even bigger red flag compared to everything else going on. And he just kept scoffing at me. And I told him, I said, look at me in my eyes right now and tell me that I deserve this. Which I'm so proud of myself for. But he did. He was like, you don't deserve this. Like, no shit. I don't deserve this. You're treating me like garbage and disrespecting me left and right on this date. Just point blank period. That's how it goes. And he is just doing everything in his power, like groveling. And then whenever I have something to say, he just scoffs and like looks away. He kept saying, you just don't even know me. You don't even see me. You're letting like all these past traumas with your ex get in the way of this. And I'm not those guys. I'm not those guys. While being those guys. Bitch, I wasn't fucking born yesterday. Like, he's like, I could stop coke anytime. Like, I'll stop on Monday and I'll prove it to you. Yada, yada, yada. My coworker, mind you, that was in part 1 that I saw at this bar, he's watching with the servers. And we stand up, continue the fight, because he does not want to let me leave. He wants me to stay and talk it out with him. Again, what is there to talk out? We're on a first date. It's not going well. You're not my husband. You're just not my husband. So I'm gonna go. And I'm trying to, like, reason with him. And just talk it out. Leave on good terms. And just go on our merry way. We're not meant to be. It's fine. So a different server that's taking over our table comes over and she says, you know, are you guys okay? And I tell her, yeah, we're okay, because I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave this man at this bar. And so I tell him, I say, I don't think you're a bad person. I just think, like, with everything that went on, I don't know if we're a good fit. And I deserve better. I just deserve better than what's going on here. And he is like, please, no, please, please, just groveling. And I'm just trying to leave. So I'm telling him, like, we could talk about this later. Like, sober up, get your shit together, and maybe we could talk about this later. He's like, okay, okay. I looked at him in his eyes and I said, do not fucking drive home tonight or else we're completely done. There's nothing to talk about. Get an Uber or get a ride with a friend. Do not drive. Because he's trying to convince me in the first story he just needs 45 minutes to sober up to drive me home. This man had 8 drinks and was doing coke in the bathroom. Do not drive. You could feel so confident until you actually hurt somebody. No way. Not a fan of that. So I give him a hug and I leave and I walk past the server that offered me a ride and I said, thank you so much for your offer. I have a ride. I'm gonna go home. And she was like, okay, have a good night. And I was like, thank you. So I get out the bar doors and I run to my friend's car. And she and her husband pick me up. Oh my God, so grateful. They're so amazing. I'm telling them everything because I am in shock. I almost burst into tears as soon as I got in their car because I was just flabbergasted. I've never had a fight on a first date. I've never had to be picked up by a friend on a first date. None of that. I felt so disrespected. And as they're driving me home, he's blowing up my phone. He's blowing me up. And he's like, give me another chance. Like, you don't know who I am as a person, blah, blah, blah. And just going on and on. So I texted him. I said, I am not talking about this right now. I'm going to go to bed. I made it home safe, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. He told me he didn't drive and he got home safe. Thank God. And that was that until this morning. And he had sent me another, like, massive paragraph. It was like a fucking novel. And I respond to it and I was like, you know what? I deserve better than this. I'm not dealing with this. I don't even want to have this conversation. He's like, well, I don't understand, like, how I disrespected you. I know I did coke and stuff, but, like, I don't understand why you're saying I disrespected you. Like, it really wasn't that bad and blah, blah, blah. Like, we were having a great time. And I had enough. So I started listing things. I'm like, this is how you disrespected me. All these different ways, which are so obvious from this story. And then during part 1, he was just blowing me up. I haven't even read those messages because I was just trying to stay cordial because I met him at my job at a bar. I'd never seen him do anything like that or act disrespectfully while he was drinking, so I had, like, no warning signs when I met him at my job. And now he's blowing me up. I don't know why. It's not like we were in a relationship. We went on one date. Why can't you let it go? But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Not opening his messages. Probably gonna block him because I already know where I stand in this situation. Yeah. Anyways, this is the final look. You know what? He's missing out. It's fine. I hope he learns his lesson. Everything's fine. I'm gonna go to work and make a shit ton of money.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the worst date I've ever been on. It's so bad and embarrassing, and I told this story a long time ago on here, but it's time to tell it again. So here we go. Okay, also ignore how red my face is. It's from my lip plumping gloss that got on my face when I washed my face, and it looks crazy. But anyways, I'm going in with the Mixsoon toner right now after I just washed with the Mixsoon face wash. And yeah, so here we go. Let's get into the story. So this was senior year of high school, the beginning of senior year of high school, and I did not know this guy very well. We went to middle school with each other, but we were not friends. That's important. Like, we were not friends. I did not really talk to him much at all. And then somehow we had each other on Snapchat or something, and he started Snapchatting me. I don't really know why, but that's like how it started. Okay, now I'm using the Mixsoon Bean Essence. I love this stuff. I've been using this for years, and it has really helped my skin, and I used to have such terrible acne, so I highly recommend, side note. So basically this guy asked me on a date and I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And so he asked me to mini golf, and for some reason I was kind of like unsure if it was a date because he was just saying like, oh, do you want to hang out? And I was like, okay. And then he's like, oh wait, but you actually have to pick me up because I totaled my car and crashed it into a pole. And I was like, okay, off to a great start. So the plan was we were gonna go to In-N-Out and then go to mini golf. And so I get to his house to pick him up, and he's like, oh, hey, sorry, my friends are over right now. Like, just come in the garage, you can meet them. I'm like, okay. So I go and I meet his friends, and it's like really awkward. And he left me alone with them. He like went inside and left me alone with his friends. And then he's like, oh, let me close the garage. Like, let's just go out through the front door. But by going through the front door, I had to walk into his house and meet his entire family. His entire family. Okay. Also, I'm wearing like a crop top tight pants, right? And I'm like, I don't know you or your family, and now I just met your whole family. That's crazy. Okay, lastly for skincare, the Mixsoon Bean Cream. It's like so moisturizing. I love this stuff. So we drive to In-N-Out. It's going fine. We're just making small talk, whatever. We get to the parking lot, and I'm telling him a story and he's like, oh wait, finish your story. I was like, okay, like before we got out of the car to go order our food. So I finished the story and like, I'm like nervous and shy and like a little awkward. And he just looks at me and he's like, can you look at me in my eyes when you're talking to me? I was like, what the hell? Okay. So then I'm trying to like look at him and you can tell like that he was like thinking that it was gonna be hot or something if I like stare into his eyes. I don't know, it was really weird. So then we get out of the car and we're walking up to In-N-Out and he like puts his arm around my waist, like hugs me to him, and I'm like, oh my, like this is there's so many red flags and I should have seen them, but I was like 17. I'm going in with Elf Halo Glow. Okay, so we go in, he tries to order my food for me and I was like, no, I can do it myself. And I order, then we go and we sit down and there's like these little benches outside of the In-N-Out and they have little sections on them that are meant for like one person each. And he sits on the seat with me. So like I have no choice but to be pressed up against him. And then the whole time we're talking and the whole time I'm trying to eat, he's staring at me. So his face is like, I'm not even getting like right here. And then he decides throughout that conversation to ask me if I'm a virgin. And, you know, I answer and I'm like, yeah. And he literally goes, yes. And then he pulls up my Instagram in front of me and starts going to different photos and zooming in on my butt. Okay, weird choice. Really strange, really weird choice, okay? I'm down to the bare bones on this Merit blush, but I love it and I will not stop until it's completely gone. Okay, so then of course it gets worse. So then once we're done eating, we go to my car and we're gonna go drive to mini golf, and he goes, yes, I make SoundCloud music. Okay, great. So then he's like, yeah, you want to hear one of my songs? No, obviously I don't, but I was like, yeah. So we get to the mini golf parking lot. He's like, oh, let me take aux. He plays a SoundCloud backtrack that he made, and he starts rapping a song to me, like staring at me, rapping it to me, and he goes, pretend I wrote this for you and not my ex. This is my favorite makeup product ever. It's the Merit like concealer face stick thing. It's so good. So then when we get out of the car, I'm like, oh, it's kind of cold. I'm going to bring my jacket. He's like, no, wear mine. Okay, so he puts it on me. And then he's like, yeah, like, that'll cover you up so guys don't stare at you so they know that you're mine. Sir, this is our first date. What? So then we go into mini golf and we're sitting waiting for our turn. And he pulled out his phone, so I pull out my phone because I felt awkward. And then he literally just turns my face to him and kisses me. Completely unprovoked. It was not cute. And then he looks at me and he goes, oh, you have a mustache. Genuinely, like, what? I cannot make like, what? Why would you say that to me? Why would you say that to me? And then years later, diagnosed with PCOS. So like, that's actually kind of funny in hindsight, but like crazy. This video is so long. So if you're still watching this, like, I love you. But so then fast forward, we leave the mini golf place. He's like, what do you want to do now? You want to go to the top of a parking garage? Actually, no, I don't want to do that. And he's like, we could go to a park. I don't know why, guys. I don't know why I kept going along with this, okay? I was like such a pushover, and I still kind of am, but like I was a terribly, like, such a people pleaser, such a pushover, okay? So we end up going to this park, and so he's directing me there because he's like, oh, it's by my house. It's up a mountain. It's not a park, it's like a hiking trail. We start going up a mountain in the dark, like pitch black. And I'm like, I'm about to be killed right now. I'm about to be killed. And I didn't have service. And it was so, oh my God, I was so dumb. Okay, like I already know that. I was so stupid. So we end up just like kissing and stuff. And like he definitely like wanted to do more. And I was like, no. And then we finally leave because I'm like, it's so late. I need to get home. And on the way back, he's like, so when should I meet your parents? Like genuinely, like what? I actually can't. So yeah, okay, wait. Okay, so I drop off this man. When I drive home, I literally screamed in my car because I felt icky and like I was low-key scared of him the whole time. So it was just like not great. And then he proceeds to like text me and be like, "Why aren't you answering? Where are you?" for like the next couple of days. And then I break the news to him like, "Hey, I actually like, no, we're not gonna date." And I thought like, oh my God, this man is gonna be devastated because he was really into me. And he just goes, "Okay, can we be friends with benefits?" Classic ending there. Okay, the finale to this is that 4 years later, he slides into my DMs being like, "Hey, we should rekindle what we had." Oh, and then he did it again the next year after I rejected him. This year, actually, not that long ago, a few months ago. Crazy. Okay, I'm gonna finish my makeup one sec. Here's the final look. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more story times probably.
On the worst first date this weekend, and I actually can't believe all of the things that happened within an hour and a half of being on a date with this man. I'm gonna take you guys through it, just the highlight reel, but he was from Hinge. I agreed to go on a date with him like 2 weeks ago, so he was good with planning it, whatever. We went to Angel's Share. So I'm gonna walk you through it. There were so many crazy pieces. These are just like the highlight reel of how insane men are. So the one good thing he did, waited for the walk-in reservation at Angel's Share before I got there. That was nice of him. He got points for that. I show up. He had made a joke about what I was going to wear. Tell me why he's wearing all Lululemon and no jacket in New York City. Like full Lululemon outfit at a bar in New York City. He was really touchy at first. Like too touchy, too familiar. Like we've never met each other. Like we're not friends. We don't have the same friend group. He's from Hinge. So then we're sitting at the bar. Every time I tried to ask him a question first, he wouldn't answer. He said that it didn't matter like anything about him. It should just be about me. So every time he asked me a question and I'd ask it back, he wouldn't answer. Or if I tried to ask a question first, he wouldn't answer. We talked about our background of where we lived. I've lived in New York City for 1.5 years. He's lived there for a year. So he mentioned he's lived in New York City for a year and he brought up the mayor. I mentioned how great the snow program was, and he immediately goes, oh no. So then he goes, uh-oh, you voted for Kamala, huh? And so I said, oh, you voted for Trump? To find out he was a huge Trumpy. Also, he did not put conservative on his Hinge profile. I would not have matched with him. Then he compares his sister. She lived in Madrid for 5 years, and they deported her for no reason. He said, isn't that so messed up? It's because she was American. They were racist against her. Meanwhile, she moved back to Madrid. I said maybe it had something to do with the visa. He said no, it's because they were racist in Spain against an American. Also, I should say he's white, so his sister's probably white as well. So next he comments on ICE and how he supports ICE and how I probably don't support ICE. And then he said, because you don't like Trump and you don't like that I support ICE, that you don't like me anymore and like this date's not going anywhere. So he told me how I felt about him and said that I didn't like him, which was like, why are you putting words in my mouth? I responded and I told him the point of a date is to see if you're compatible as friends and humans before something romantically, to see if you even get along, which he didn't like. After that, he starts turning his back to me at the bar and like putting his hands like this and like leaning on the bar and like whatever. Also, I'm changing my sheets, so ignore behind me. And so then after that, I was like, can we reset? Because at this point, I like feel so awkward. I don't really know what to do. We're sitting at this bar together. The bartender is like dead quiet, not helping me with anything. So we reset. All of a sudden he mentions, I saw the ad you did for Blush. I stalked your Instagram. I know what kind of girl you are. And so I was like, oh, like, let's go look at your Instagram. No, he didn't follow me. He just stalked it. So he had already kind of decided like what kind of girl I was before the date, I guess. I don't know what kind of girl that meant, but whatever. So then he starts calling me pretty. He maybe calls me pretty like 20 times. And then he asks why I haven't had a boyfriend in so long. And then says there must be something wrong with me internally and that I have something I need to work on and I should look within. And he was totally serious, by the way. He starts leaning in and staring at me after I commented that he was turning away and starts touching my neck and my hair. Mind you, I have never met this man before, like ever. And he's like touching the back of my hair and like pulling my hair and just staring at me. We had gotten like some food to eat and there was like sashimi, which he like couldn't see for whatever reason. It wasn't that dark in there.
I offer him a bite of fish, and instead of like taking it from me, he opens his mouth for me to feed him. So I feed him the fish, and then he bites the chopstick and throws it over his shoulder onto a man at the table behind us, beneath us, and then just like totally ignores that happened. And it was so awkward. And the guy's like, I think somebody dropped their chopstick. He bit it and threw it over his shoulder. Then he starts speaking extremely loudly, like making like almost like a scene. Meanwhile, he's had 2 martinis this entire time, 2 martinis on this date. Then continues saying I'm pretty and just staring at me and saying like, something's got to be wrong with you. And then asks me to come over after the date and says, don't worry, we won't have sex. That I'm Jewish and Catholic. He's like, you don't even know God if you're Jewish. At least you are Catholic, so you know some of it. I'm like, what? Then towards the end of the date, he tells me his grandpa was a Navy captain in whatever war it was, and he fought for my rights, and I should be grateful to have rights and live in the USA. Then he goes to the bathroom and he hands me his card to pay the bill. I hand it to the bartender, who said, I don't know why he just gave you his card. He just paid for it. He comes back to the bar seats. I get up to leave. He comes and starts squeezing my waist. And I'm like, hey, like, are we going to go? He asks me if I wanted to do something after. I'm like, I think I'm just going to go home, like, whatever. Walks me out. He's like, oh, I'll wait for you while you call your Uber. I'm wearing a jacket. Mind you, he was wearing his Lululemon outfit and no jacket. And puts his hands, like, underneath my jacket and squeezes me and hugs me that way and just stares at me in my face. And then, I'm still waiting for the Uber, and he's like, okay, so, like, you're good to wait for your Uber, right? And then just turns the corner and leaves and disappears. And I'm flabbergasted. I don't even know what happened here on this date. Meanwhile, like, he looked like a normal dude. And this is, like, the first Hinge date I've been on in a while, so I'm still so confused. After the date, you'd think it would be over. That was, like, I got home maybe a little bit before 10, like 9:30, 10. He texted me twice in the night, once at 2:30 saying, hey, once at 4:15 saying what, and then at 9:02 in the morning calls me. And that's where that ended. And girls wonder why, like, we think men are so crazy when we go on dates. Like, what the actual heck happened on this date? I am still reeling, and I'm so confused. Like, so when I said I've never been on a bad date, never mind. This takes the cake.
And just be thankful God didn't give us the power to send people to hell. The world would be gone. The world would be ended already. Somebody cut me off in the road. Hell! Whole time they rushing their baby to the hospital. You think, you see, it's not, no.
Story time of the most rude man I have ever met. I'm on a date, fresh out of my relationship of almost 3 years. Confidence was here. Should have been here. It was there. Standards should have been here. They were there. Don't judge. I already judged myself enough. Like, kept asking me on dates for a while. So I'm like, you know what? Sure. He didn't seem like a bad guy. I was just like, fresh out of a relationship. So I was like really not trying to go on too many dates because I really wanted to like heal. I feel like jumping from guy to guy like doesn't allow a person to heal. Okay, you know what? One date won't hurt. He picks me up. All is good. We have great conversation in the car. We get to the restaurant. We have a drink. We're sitting there. Again, great conversation. In the bathroom, I come back and it's like a completely different person at the table. I go to the bathroom, come back, and a completely different person was sitting across from me. He then, on his phone, the entire rest of the date. Then, oh, it gets worse. Keep in mind, I am the type of person, if I am at the dinner table, I am not on my phone. Ever. We didn't grow up like that. She's not like that. I'm not like that. If we are at the dinner table, no phones allowed. Just sitting there. The waitress keeps coming up and like giving me looks like, oh my God, like this is not going well, and I can tell. Then I get up and go to the bathroom again. Waitress comes up to me in the bathroom, follows me into the bathroom, and goes, he's on the phone with another girl right now. So I come out of the bathroom, and thankfully where the bathroom was, his chair was here, so his back was to the bathroom. I'm gonna find out everything. I'm a little investigator. I'm like looking on his phone. He's on FaceTime with another woman. He's on FaceTime, not a phone call, FaceTime on our day. Being like, yeah, I'll be there later. And I can hear him because obviously I'm right behind him. Like where Melania is was where I was. And I was like, Bruh. So then I go and sit back down. And at this point, we didn't even get our food. I don't even want the food. I genuinely don't want the food. But then, of course, the food comes out. As I like came across to the table, he like quickly hangs up. Then the waiter comes up and he's like, hey, because they were turning the restaurant into a bar, like into like a beach bar type of vibe. Like, hey, do you mind? We have 2 chairs at the bar. We're going to pick up the food, bring it over there. So now I'm sitting next to him. Ew. He's now on his phone even more. Type, text. Thankfully, there was girls next to me, and I just start talking to them because I'm like, screw this man. Like, absolutely not. Like, no. I get up to go to the bathroom with the one girl. The other girl is sitting there. I come back, and she then tells me, by the way, he was just hitting on me. Like, the guy that you were with. Is that your boyfriend? Because it shouldn't be. I was like, oh, wow. Oh, like,
Excuse me.
no, we're already throwing you a bone, sir. Really? Now the bartender comes up and I'm like, hey, can we get the check? And he dead ass looks at me and goes, we're splitting it, right? At this point, I'm like pissed. You have been disrespectful this entire night. Key rule, don't be on your phone, and you couldn't even do that. So since I didn't even have good conversation, yes, you can pay for my meal. At this point, I didn't even care. All respect went out the window. I'm like, you know what? Me, myself, and I in this, girl. Me, myself, and I. And he starts talking to a girl sitting next to him at the bar. And I'm like, can we go? Like, can we go? Like, I want to leave. He drives me home. I never talked to him again. Valid. Very valid. But ended up paying for the food. But, like, that comment alone, I was like, you didn't even talk to me this entire time. Hitting on other girls right in front of me. Hitting on girls when I go to the bathroom. FaceTiming other girls when I was at the bathroom. And now you're gonna ask me if, like, oh, we're splitting the bill, right? That man was hitting me up from the second me and my boyfriend broke up to this point. So, like, all that for what? All that for what? So, yeah, that's the story time of one of the worst dates I have ever been on and the most disrespectful man I have ever met. Hope you enjoyed!
You know, because at the time, the Hailey Bieber smoothie was, like, new, and I don't think I had tried it yet, so I wanted to just, like, do the LA thing and go get a smoothie. He looked at me and goes, you really want to spend $20 on a smoothie? First of all, you are paying over $300 a month for a gym, and you're looking at me crazy because I want to buy a $20 smoothie. We end up driving to Air One, and of course I pay for my own smoothie, walking back to his car so I can drop off some of the things I had in my hand because we were gonna go on a walk after a walk around the town, whatever. I had to tie my shoelace, so I bend down, I set my Air One smoothie on the back of his car, plastic cup, and immediately he grabs the smoothie off the back of his car and he's like, no, we don't sit anything on the car. And like rubs off where the smoothie was sitting, as if condensation had already built up on the smoothie to tie my 2-second shoelace. The urge I had to take my $20 smoothie that I just paid for and pour it over his head was real. It was almost like he had an alter ego, like so different than the weekend that I met him, like polar opposite. I'm like, who is this guy that I'm staying with? I think I had like planned for either 1 or 2 more days with this guy. And I took things into my own hand and I was like, I literally can't do it anymore. So I ended up texting my friend who lived like 2 hours away in California. And I was like, you need to come pick me up. Like, I'm about to have a panic attack. I'm super uncomfortable. He's made so many weird comments to me. She was like, I will come pick you up after work. Like, just try and like breathe and chill before I get there, yada, yada, yada. So I'm sitting here in my head, like trying to think about how I'm going to tell this guy that my friend's coming to pick me up early and I'm not spending the rest of the time with him. We were on a car ride somewhere. Maybe we were going to dinner that night, or maybe it was lunch. I can't remember, but I was like, look, I just want to let you know, like, I have really bad anxiety. At the time, I think I was like, it's nothing to do with you, even though it all was. And I really just think I need to have my friend come pick me up early. She knows how to like handle me and deal with it and help me through it. This guy goes into a speech about how I need to learn how to cope with my anxiety. And I remember him saying something like, how are you ever going to get through life if you don't know how to deal with this? Just hardcore judging me. And I was so fed up at this point. I was like, honestly, I know how to handle my anxiety and just need to get the out of here. God help me just get out of this situation. I have a few more hours with him till my friend comes and gets me. We are driving to dinner, and again, just surrounded by beautiful houses. Should have learned my lesson the first time, but I was like, that house is stunning. Clearly, I can't talk about houses because he has something to say, but he looks at me and goes, I bet you wish you could afford that, don't you? We finally get to dinner, the last dinner before my friend comes and picks me up, thank God. And this dinner place was a place where you just walk up and order. He goes up, orders his meal, walks off, goes to find a table. I'm like, all right, I'll get my meal. Like, I don't expect a guy to necessarily pay for like absolutely everything, even though I kind of do. Like, if I'm flying across the country, plane ticket I paid for, staying with you and I'm your guest, like, you should pay for my meals. It's not like I'm eating anything crazy or ordering the most expensive thing on the menu. I think he's just so pissed off that I'm dipping early. The weird way he was acting, maybe he's used to like getting everything he wants because he's an influencer and an LA boy and whatever. But like I'm just not about that. We make it through the last like 30 minutes before my friend gets there. She finally pulls up and he like plops my luggage into the trunk of the car and he's like, all right, see ya. Like, so cold. Not like, thanks for coming all this way. Really had a fun time. Like, I hope you start feeling better. Nope, nothing. I felt immediate relief that I was in the car with my friend. I felt safe again. I felt comfortable again. I was absolutely flabbergasted how different of a person he was than the first weekend I met him. But the story doesn't stop there. So we're driving in the car on the way back to my friend's place, and I get a text message from him. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, he's had some time to think about the weekend, reflect on things, and maybe apologize for the crappy way he treated me all weekend and thank me for coming all this way to visit him. Well, clearly, I was very wrong about that. Maybe I was giving him too much credit. I open his text. You literally can't make this up. It says, she just left. I've never met such a needy girl in my life. Mic drop. Clearly wasn't meant for me. Needy girl is crazy. Moral of the story is, don't fly across country for a man that you barely know. Make sure the first time you meet him, he introduces himself and his alter ego. And if a guy starts eating meat out of a sandwich bag on your date, run for the hills. Thanks for tuning in to my horrific story time. Let me know if you want to hear about another story time I have, because I have many of these, unfortunately. Bye.